Lewis structures. This is one of those vocab words. This is how you show how the electronic structure of the molecule is arranged. And this is going to determine its reactivity. So it's very important. And you can see here that the common rules for formal charges are, oxygen will have 2 bonds. As you can see in the picture, nitrogen should have 3 bonds. And if it has 3 bonds in 1 lone pair, it has a formal charge of 0. As it has 4 bonds here, you see it doesn't have the 3 bonds that it normally wants to have. It has 4 bonds. And so this whole molecule has this like overall charge, and it has the, it will have the molecule will have an overall charge. Let's see if it goes specifically. Yeah, so specifically though, this nitrogen should have, right here, has a formal charge of +1. Normally it will have, 3 bonds in 1 lone pair. So it will have basically 5 things around it. But here you can see it has 4 things around it. So you take the number of things it normally has around it, 5, and subtract the number of things it has around it here, 4. 5 minus 4 is +1. So there's a formal charge of +1 on nitrogen. And now we'll go through each of the oxygens. Oxygen normally wants to have 2 bonds and 2 lone pairs. As you can see here, it has 1, 2 bonds and 2, or 1 lone pair here, 2 lone pairs there. It has its, happy situation of 2 bonds, 2 lone pairs. Now let's look at these 2 oxygens. These 2 oxygens have only 1 bond and 3 lone pairs. So like the nitrogen, they're going to have a formal charge, but now you're going to take the number of things that oxygen normally wants to have around it, which is 6, and take the number of things it has around it, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 minus 7 is -1. This oxygen has a formal charge of -1. This one also has a formal charge of -1. This nitrogen has a formal charge of +1. Adding all these together, +1 plus -1 plus -1 is overall -1. So that's where that -1 comes from. And the octet rule is referring to all atoms within the second row prefer to have 8 electron shell in their valence shell. As you can see, they all do here. A bond represents two pairs of electrons. So nitrogen has 2, 4, 6, 8. Oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. This oxygen is the same. This oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. Lewis structures and formal charges. And let's see here. This is how that's actually calculated in formal charge. And so let's see. Oxygen should have 6 valence electrons, which it normally has. And then it has 4 non-bonding valence electrons. You can see the oxygen has 1, 2, 3, 4 non-bonding valence electrons. And you subtract the bonding pairs of electrons divided by 2. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of bonding electrons for oxygen. Divided by 2 is 2. So it's 6 minus 4 minus 2 is 0. So oxygen has a formal charge of 0.